Hey, this is Pastor Curry, pastor of the East Zion Fair Baptist Church, Wilmington's most exciting church, the church that love ya and anything you can do about it. Today with Coffee with Curry, I'm excited. We are in that season of election, and I'm so glad to hear that many of you are getting out to vote. But before you cast your vote, you got a couple more guests we want you to see, and we want to make sure that you are doing it according to, as I would say, the information, and not somebody who wants to just give you some fluff. I'll put it that way. But today I'm excited. I'm excited because we have two guests for you. But starting us out today is Miss Velda Jones Potter, a friend to East Zion Fair, a friend to the community for those of you who've been watching. And today I'm going to ask her some tough questions. I'm going to talk about several things, and I want to see where she is with them, because I believe that serving as the city treasurer, serving as the state treasurer, she was thorough in those positions. I'm now looking forward to hearing what she plans to do for the city. Why don't you call somebody real quickly? Tell them Coffee with Curry is on, and let's get after it.
Good morning, Delaware and surrounding areas. You are now tuned in to this week's Coffee with Curry. Join us every Sunday at 11 a.m. with new guests every week. So grab your cup of coffee and join us on Coffee with Curry.
And we're back. As I promised you, Miss Velda Jones Potter, thank you so much for taking time to be with me today. And it is a true honor to have you with me.
Thank you. Always great to see you.
Yes. Well, you know, there's so much going on. And before I get started, how's the family? How's everybody doing?
Everybody is doing very well. It's been a busy time for us, needless to say, but a lot of enthusiasm. Everybody is well, thank God. Yeah. And things are going great.
How about you? Now, I heard that you're knocking on 10 million doors. Somebody called me and said she's everywhere. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Okay. I think I'm drawing my energy from all the people I'm engaging with. That's the only thing I can figure, because I have been very, very busy, but loving every minute of it, because I just feel this energy, this enthusiasm. I see people getting engaged who normally aren't. And just the hope that and the optimism that people have is energy for me.
Good. This is what we were hoping for. We want to make sure today that we share with our viewers some of the things that I want to make sure that they are hearing and you are able to respond to. One is that I've heard you talk about the turning point. And there are people who may believe that it's about black and white issue, but in actuality, when you talk about turning point, it's more about establishment. Could you just help me to understand that a little bit?
Yes. What I've been trying to share with people is, especially for people who are not close to, or maybe haven't paid very close attention to what's been happening really across the whole state, but also across our city over years, over decades, really. And there has been this establishment of people who have held senior positions within state government, primarily, within political parties, the Democratic Party in particular, and this system, this institution, if you will, of people who, in many cases, have sort of moved from office to office and retained power over the years, have really controlled and determined and are, I'll say, responsible for where we are today. And so I've just been trying to help people who may not be looking as closely at the political dynamics that have existed over the last 10, 15, 20 years, to help them see and understand that. Because the decisions that have been made that have created our current situation have been made by people who have been in those offices over all that time.
Yeah.
So, you know, the state of our education system, the poor performance of our children, third graders with the city of Wilmington only able to read at a 5% of them reading at third grade level. The decisions around the Department of Education and how much money gets spent in that arena and how it's spent is made by people who are part of and represent that system.
So you're saying, like, for example, I'm just using one of your examples, the education system. You're saying that it's made by people in the system. Is that you're talking about the Department of Education? You're talking about whose office? What office determines where the money goes and how the money is allotted for the education process?
Yes. So the Department of Education is at the hub of implementing all those things that are public education, charter school education, and that department reports up through the governor of the state, and that so that whole system, if you will, that has led us to be where we are, the criminal justice system, and the rate of incarceration that places our state among the top states in terms of incarcerations per capita. All of those systems are a function of who's leading our state government in that case. And so where we are now is a result of that. So what I try to really impress upon people is to make the connection between who we put in office and where we are, because there's a direct connection between the two. What's prioritized, where funds are allocated, who gets access to resources, who's included in opportunity and who isn't, what communities are funded in what ways, what projects, what programs. All of those decisions are made by the people who we as citizens choose and put in office as our leaders.
So you see these establishment as the same old, and you're feeling that your candidacy shifts that. If you're given the opportunity to serve the city of Wilmington, it will break up that whole institutional who's next in line for whatever, or whatever the system is. You know, I've been watching carefully, and how, you know, you served as the city treasurer, you served as the state treasurer, and I tried to dig up information because that's important to me. And it seems like you do have a high standard of excellence. Okay. Shouldn't it be clear to those who are watching, they should look at your record and see who you are as Velda Jones Potter, as opposed to any racial or any other thing? First, your work ethic. I don't want to talk for you, but I'll give you an opportunity to respond to that.
Yes, absolutely. You know, I tend to be modest, and I'm always grateful, but I will stack my record of performance up against anyone else who is vying or would vie for the opportunity to lead this city. My record in the private sector as an engineer, a problem solver, the DuPont company as an executive, in banking, in understanding and managing all aspects of lending and all the decisions that go into managing and operating functions in the banking arena, and then in government. As state treasurer, I led the state treasury function and our financial position through the greatest recession since the Great Depression. And then as city treasurer, in the first 2.5 years, we had a very small team, 7 people. It was very diverse. I made sure of that on purpose. And in that short first 2.5 years, we recouped $20 million for the city. I am very, very meticulous about, well, really whatever we do, to do it the very best we can. So, I mean, I'm really proud and thankful to say that every position I've gone into and every opportunity I've been given, I've left the role, the organization, the entity better than I found it.
Excellent.
And that is the standard that not only I hold myself to, but that I hold people to who work with me. People who are on my team will have to come and be ready to serve, first of all, with a true and honest heart, and to do so with a spirit of excellence. We can't accept any less for people who are trusting us.
Now, question for you: Are you born in Delaware?
Yes. Well, no. I often think I am. My family moved here when I was 2 years old.
Okay, you were born.
So I was born in West Virginia.
Okay.
My mom and dad both.
Okay.
Little small coal mining town in Welch, West Virginia. But we moved here when I was 2 years old, and
so you was raised.
I was
here in Wilmington. You're raised and bred.
Yes, Wilmington is home.
Okay, and I asked that question because, you know, as I look at your record, because I was really when you agreed to do the interview with me, I wanted to make sure that I ask you some questions that that most people don't ask. There's a white-black thing going on, and I believe that your whole focus, as I was watching your trajectory of your history of how you've really worked as a professional, how you worked as an elected official, and those things, it seems like there is a standard of excellence that you prescribe to very, very strongly. And I am more excited about the fact, I'm just going to be straight. I'm very excited about the fact that you're pursuing. You want to fight against establishment, but you want to be the person who really is bringing the excellence to the table. If somebody is watching today, and if there was one reason why they needed to vote for Velda Jones Potter, what would that reason be?
I would say it's because I sincerely care about the quality of life that people in this city, all people, are able to have. That is, I would say, the most compelling reason. And I say that because I believe that is so much of what has been missing. An authenticity, a sincerity, to really want to see people do better and live better. And honestly, especially people who have not been given that opportunity. And I don't say that in any way to diminish the work that I will do on behalf of everyone, even those who are already doing well by, whatever standard someone might use. We absolutely want to and will continue to do that. But there's a whole group of people who've been left out, people who have been ignored, people who have lost hope, people who need that extra tender loving care. And as a whole, we can do that while we all, and that lifts all boats. It lifts everyone when we do that to everyone across our community. So I would say that that's the primary reason is I care, and I care about everyone, and I will establish policies. I will lead in a way that reflects that, because you can care, but if it doesn't manifest itself in the policies that you put in place that ultimately have outcomes that truly help change and transform the lives of people, then what does it matter? It's nice that you care, but unless it actually has an impact, and I would couple that with the experience that I have across so many sectors. The private sector, I've been an entrepreneur, the public sector, and the track record of performance and capability that I have. So not only do I want to bring this change and help this shift that is people focused and people centered, but I have the skills, the background, the capability to do it.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I've seen you several places. I've even seen you here at doing your debates and things of that nature. You don't have a large crowd around you. You seem to be a person who want to touch the people. Why don't you have the big crowd? Why don't you have the fanfare? Why?
I don't know. It's just that's kind of like not who I am.
Yeah. Okay.
I just really like connecting with people personally, and the fanfare and all around that just doesn't lend itself to that. I just really like eye to eye, heart to heart, connecting with people. So when I'm knocking on doors, it may be, you know, one or two other people, and they're probably halfway down the street. I'm like knocking on that door, and I love having the conversation. The couple of people who do walk with me are giving me the wind up signal, because I just get involved and engaged with what we're talking about, with what's on their mind. And for me, that's just so important.
You know, because I want to give you some time to talk on your own. There is a shameful thing that happens with women where they're held to a different standard, okay? I don't want to get into, I'm a male, so I don't want to, but I'm leading to a question. Velda Jones Potter, is she one who have a back room of people telling her what to do? Or is she the woman who stands on her own? Yes, we all take advice and we advise. How does Velda Jones Potter make her decisions? Is it from the backroom crowd, people we don't see, or is it Velda Jones Potter?
Anyone who has worked with Velda Jones Potter knows it's Velda Jones Potter.
Okay.
I think what people mistake is they mistake my demeanor.
Okay.
You know, I'm just who I am. Today, yesterday, tomorrow, in the boardroom, you know, taking out the trash. It doesn't matter. I am who I'm just who I am, and so I'm not boisterous and any of that.
Okay.
So people, I think, take my demeanor sometimes for granted.
Okay.
But if they've watched what I've done, they should have seen me take on some tough battles and fight as hard as anybody else can. Yeah. And when it comes to making decisions, I make my own decisions. I love a collaborative process, so I always include and I welcome the ideas of people. I'm looking forward to engaging the community, other leaders in the community. But at the end of the day, it's my responsibility and I make the decisions. And you're right, we have, and I've heard a lot, I've heard it, you know, I'm just going to be straight too. Is her husband going to make decisions? You know, I think he's going to make, well, that is very sexist.
Yes.
Absolutely. Because it's sexist because I don't hear that being asked of any of the other candidates when it's kind of a reverse situation. I have a very strong marriage. We've been married 42 years.
Oh, wow.
And that's not going to change. And we have made an outstanding team. And that's just what it is, a team. But make no mistake about it. Every role that I'm in, from an executive at DuPont to the treasurer of the state, the treasurer of the city, and then now going in, God willing, as mayor of this city, running that office will be Velda Jones Potter.
I'm grateful that you were able to address that head on. I was trying to be kind because you hear little comments and it's easily for people to believe because your demeanor is a humble one. I personally have watched you, okay, when you were under the Dennis administration, and when it came time to make it, and we were in need of something, and you seemed, I'll say, I don't really want her to represent us in this because she's so quiet, but you came out with what needs to come out with. So whatever the magic you worked in the room, I can't really get involved in that. But I kind of agree with you in that I know that you are very, very strong.
Yes.
And most sophisticated Delta women are not all boisterous. They're very end result oriented. So
yes, if I could add one more thing, and I mean, I will say this to the viewing audience. I also believe, and in my case and in others, particularly with women, if someone's looking for an excuse or reason not to support, you don't need one. Yeah. I respect if you want to support someone else, that's your prerogative. You don't have to create an excuse that, oh, well, he's going to make the decisions or this or that. No. Okay. Let's not even make that excuse.
I appreciate that because sometimes people will do that.
Yes.
But I think you nailed it on the head when you said they don't ask that same question if it's a male.
Yes.
And I think that's why I brought it out the way I did. But I needed to get that answer, and I needed the people to hear that answer.
I appreciate you asking
because I felt
that
that was very important. I want to give you an opportunity, and I'm going to bring you back, you know, and after the celebration party and all that good stuff happens. But I want to give you an opportunity, unfiltered, to just share with the audience, one, how they can give to your campaign, two, what they can do to support you, and any last message you want to give to the community.
Yes. Thank you so much, Pastor Curry. And I would like to thank the audience for having entrusted me in the past with opportunities to serve the public. And I'm excited and looking forward to the support in these coming days through September 10th, which is the final election day, in my bid for mayor. Anyone who'd like to support my campaign, my website is veldaformayor.com, and we are still looking for volunteers. We can certainly use contributions still because we're down the home stretch, and it still takes money to get our message out. I really want to impress upon everyone that voting has started. Mail-in ballots are going in. They will actually be counted, I believe, on September 6th. At least they'll start that process. Early voting in person starts on August 28th. Right. And it runs every day up through September the 8th, with the exception of Labor Day, that's right, the 1st and the 2nd of September. But you can vote, and we're encouraging you to vote early. Don't wait until September 10th. Voting is occurring at the PAL Center on 3707 Market Street. And if anyone needs transportation, if you have any questions about where you vote, if you wait until September 10th, where you'll have to vote in your individual voting place. But in those days before that, no matter where you live in the city of Wilmington, you can vote at the PAL Center. If you have any questions about that, I'd like to give you our phone number to our voter support team, and that's 302-281-4357. And, you know, please get out there and vote. We have an opportunity to really shift the trajectory of where we are in this city. And I'm asking people to come out, cast your vote. If you look at what I hold out as my platform, it's safe, smart, and empowered. And that last one is the most meaningful one to me, because the power rests with people. Yes. We are Wilmington. The people of this city are the city. And when we're empowered, we can create the safe and smart. So that's what I believe we have the opportunity to do. And I thank you for giving me the chance to talk with the public.
It's been a true joy having you with us today. And as we're going on the stretch, I want to make sure that the people get a chance to hear. And for those of you who are watching, it's 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., Monday through Friday, except for Labor Day. Labor Day is the only day that'll be closed down. You can go over to the POW. Doesn't matter where you live in the city. Doesn't matter where you live. You can go over to the POW.
Yes.
And if you live in Claymont area, you can go in Claymont. I mean, if you live in Claymont area, you're not voting for this area. But I just want to make sure that you know that it is between 11 a.m. and 7 daily, except for Labor Day. And I hope you get that opportunity. Ms. Potter, it has been a joy and a privilege of having this opportunity to be with you today. We wish you all the luck and blessings and flow. And we know that you're going to be out there serving and knocking and doing all the things you got to do. Thank you for answering those questions. And I appreciate you so much. All right.
Thank you so much.
We'll be right back.
Hello, my name is Kobe Owens, and I'm running for the Democratic nomination for the City Council 1st District right here in Wilmington. I am running on a platform of addressing our affordable housing crisis, making sure we're helping both homeowners and renters both live in this city, live in safe and affordable housing. I'm running on a platform to address affordable housing, but also looking at quality of life issues, making sure that our street signs are up, our streets are fit, our sidewalks aren't cracked, and making sure our communities are safer for everyone. And lastly, I am running on a sustainable development and economic growth platform, one that makes sure we're investing into our neighborhoods, and our best investment that we can make is investing into our youth, making sure that we are preparing them for our future. And then lastly, expanding senior programming to make sure that they continue to age in place right here in the 1st District, in the city of Wilmington. I'm doing this for y'all. Vote for Kobe Owens.
I'm Alexander Hackett. I'm running for City Council at large for the city of Wilmington. And as always, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. Wilmington, I see you at the primary, September 10th, 2024. Vote Alexander Hackett, all right?
Hello, my name is Eugene Young. I'm incredibly thankful to be here. I am a candidate for U.S. Congress. And I believe when it comes to Congress, it comes to service. One of my favorite lines about service is you can't lead without loving, you can't save without service. So what's the depth of your love, or what's the quality of your service? So this aspect of love and service is what brings me here before you today, and wanting to take that and extend that into Congress as we move forward. I look at my last 20 years of serving the community, and I look forward to having another 20 and being able to find more ways to even better serve the community, which has given me so much. So please feel free to join us at eugeneyoung.com. That's EUGENEYOUNG.com. That's eugeneyoung.com. If you're interested in volunteering or donating, it could be $5 a month, it could be $100 a month, it could just be a standard donation of $10. We appreciate it all. Thank you so very much, and wishing you a wonderful, beautiful day.
And we're back. Well, it is a joy and a privilege, and I'll share with you all already that we have Matt Myers, who's going to be our guest today, and I'm excited. We're in the down stretch of this campaign, and I'm looking forward to seeing how God is going to do something great and miraculous. Matt, before I ask all the questions that I have for you, how is the family, and how are you?
Thank you so much, Pastor Craig. I think you know I have a 6-month-old. He just turned 6 months last week. Things are going fantastic. My wife, Lauren, is an emergency room doctor at Christiana Care. If you go into the emergency room, you might run into Dr. Lauren. Everything is good. Things in the campaign are wonderful. We've moved in the polls anywhere from 15 to 20 points since I was last here. Things are exciting. There's a lot of energy. We're bringing messages to the people, and the people are giving us messages to bring across this state. So it's an exciting time. And
you know, Matt, I can vouch for you in a lot of areas. I came out public and said I'm supporting Matt when you were down 15 points in the poll, because one thing I'm interested in as a pastor and as a person who lead people is integrity, okay? Since you started out as a teacher in this area, okay? And I was so impressed how you were very supportive to the prestige, your boys, and how you were committed to the classroom. I saw some of the commercials, but that doesn't even do justice to who you are as an individual who was trying to empower people to live and to do well. How does it feel, Matt, really first running against an institution, because that's what you're doing for real?
Well, first of all, Dr. Curry, thank you. I'm trying to be the first public school teacher ever elected governor of our state. Our schools right now are having all sorts of struggles. Great teachers, paraprofessionals, teachers' aides, amazing people working in the schools, but leadership that I believe that has led us astray. Too much money going to the wrong places. And so when you stand up and say things like that, when you stand up and say that, hey, things are going to change when I'm elected, we're going to move things forward in ways that haven't happened before, we're going to allocate resources differently. There's certainly people that say, wait a minute, we don't want you in there. We want to do anything we can to stop you. That's clearly going on. We have our head down. We're moving forward. And based on what we're doing, it seems like we're working. There's a movement of people. I encourage people to go to mattmeyer.org, sign up to volunteer. We have over 2,000 volunteers. On any given night, there are people in all 3 counties knocking on doors, making phone calls to encourage people to come out and vote.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting you said that. I was going to ask another question, but I'm going to go there for a second. I think I was driving home 2 days in a row, and 2 different people called me to ensure that if I could help, and not me as Pastor Curry, but as a potential person who's voting.
Right.
You know, are you supporting Matt Myers? Do you have any free time? Once I said yes, and then they say, are you having any free time to go out with us? We really want to make sure. And I really do believe that no one should have to put the level of energy that you have to put in and that you are putting in this race for governor, unless it was clearly understood that you are running up against people who could go on Fifth Avenue, shoot someone, and be forgiven. All of the articles that occurred, if any of them would have occurred under your watch, I'm sure you would have been destroyed.
I mean, look, the reality is if anybody watching today in their job did what my opponent did, I'm pretty confident in saying you'd be out of a job pretty quick. Right. And there's a pretty good chance you'd be prosecuted for it. There can't be 2 standards. There can't be one standard for me and another standard for everybody else. There's got to be a level playing field. Everyone, when you do something wrong, you should be held accountable. And that's true of me. That's true of everyone working for me now at the county. That's how we've governed for 8 years. That's how we're going to continue to govern at the state.
When people see Matt Meyer, especially in the county side, because I know everything that we've asked for assistance in, that you could assist us in, you did. Your staff have been very much timely. They've tried their best to be responsive. Have you really had an opportunity to hear from your constituents who serve you in the county? How are they feeling about you going?
So our polling has always been very, very strong in the county. We've gotten an overwhelming response, as I said, thousands of more people signing up to volunteer for any campaign for governor in at least 2 decades. And one of the reasons is individuals like you, Pastor Curry, when things like COVID happened, when there were crises of violence in certain neighborhoods across ours, you're here, you're in Southbridge, you have a congregation. So someone like myself says, okay, my first responsibility as county executive, as an elected official, is to keep people safe. I recognize I can't do that alone. Even within our government, we need allies. So you talk about me helping you. Many times I've reached out to you for you to help us because we need to work together, and you're always out there. And so we've done that across our community, and we're getting overwhelming support of people, of every race, every gender, every age group across our county, and in fact now our state. Our recent polling, believe it or not, shows that we're winning in Sussex County, which is something we totally weren't expecting. I've spent 8 years as the Newcastle County executive. I've lived in Newcastle County much of my life, but we have a message of unity, of bringing people together, that you and I control our government and control our community. It's not something for a small group of insiders to control.
Yeah, I like that. I like that language, a small group of insiders. I was a little mesmerized, and I'm not really expecting you to respond to everything that I'm saying now, but I was a little mesmerized when I saw some of the people who have endorsed your candidate. Because it speaks to what you said earlier when you start talking about moving things around and making sure that the appropriate people get the appropriate funding, and the people who deserve it, who's out there working, getting the funding. It does shake up an institution. And I was a little shocked, but it is what it is. But this is not your first rodeo where you were up against the establishment and God gave you favor. Are you feeling that God will give you favor again?
Look, I think that we're feeling very good. I don't want to, polls lie. Yes. Everybody knows that, you see polls, it's like, oh, that's good news, but you have to be realistic. you go before the Lord, you beg for forgiveness for what you've done wrong, and you beg for glory for things you're doing right. I'm finding that people are really giving us power, and hopefully if all those messages are sent up above, things will work out for us.
Good. Matt, what is your platform? So the people will know what you're running on. Could you just share that? Because I want them to hear you.
So we're laser focused on education, housing, healthcare, and the cost of living across our community. My parents, when I wasn't born in Delaware, I moved here as a baby, a few months old, and my parents moved here because my dad got a job, and this was a place where you could get an affordable house, and the cost of living was low. That's what Delaware was known for, right? It was a place convenient to everywhere, where the cost of living was low, and you could buy an affordable house. Less and less that's true today. To get a medical care, high quality medical care. There are too many residents burdened by medical debt. So many families now, two-parent working families, and especially single-parent families, they can't afford to purchase a home. Some can't even afford rent. I mean, to find a rental property now that is decent, safe, secure, for under $1,200, $1,300 is really hard right now. And when you look at the salaries people are making, how are the numbers going to add up? How does it make sense? So we have plans to actually do something about that. People talking about it a lot. We have a school funding formula. The formula, the money, where the money goes, that funds our schools. The formula was written in the 1940s. It's 80 years old.
Oh, wow.
Think about, who do you think, Pastor Curry, the people writing that formula were?
Yeah.
Right?
Gotcha.
They didn't look like you.
Absolutely.
Let's be honest.
Absolutely.
Right? And they didn't have your values and my values.
Yes.
We need to, as a matter of priority, make sure we rewrite that formula, because the consequence of that formula, the consequence of these dollars, is that schools in lower income areas get less money. Right? And we got to make sure schools in lower income areas are getting appropriate resources. It's the American dream. It's how people create opportunity, that anyone across our community can have that opportunity for the highest quality education. I know I'm someone who was a public school teacher in the city of Wilmington, and I'm determined to make change.
Yeah, that would be history, to have a person who is a servant to become the governor of the state of Delaware. I mean, I'm trying to think back, are there any others who were in the classroom? Not in the classroom of the elite schools, although Prestige was a very good school as it relates to, it was just starting, it was a charter school, and it was designed for African-American males. And I think that he did a very good job with it. But you would probably be the first school teacher to serve as governor for the state of Delaware.
First public school teacher. I think my team found someone from the 1800s who, on his bio, it said he was a teacher. So we're careful to not say the first teacher, but I imagine that the place he was teaching was nothing like where we taught at Prestige Academy.
Yes.
So I mean, the bottom line is this: that when I was a teacher, these politicians, elected officials would come to my school, and I'd hear them say things. They had no idea what it was like in the classroom.
Right.
Similarly, my wife is an ER doctor. It gets a sense that people making policy and allocating resources and trying to solve problems, they have no idea what it's like when you're an ER doctor and there's a waiting room with 80 people in it, and you have to make snap life or death decisions with limited resources. And so when you have that knowledge, you can use it on high to really benefit people. It's one of the big reasons, quite frankly, we have the Hope Center, which to date has provided emergency housing for over 4,200 Delawareans in desperate need. So we're committed to seeing this through. We're committed to bringing people together from across our community, whether it's Southbridge, Greenville, from Fenwick Island up to Claymont. We're getting support because we're listening to people and putting together platforms and policies that really help address a lot of the pressures that Delawareans are seeing day to day in their life.
Yeah. If a person was saying, well, why should I vote for Matt Myers? If they need to have one or two adjectives for why they should vote for you, what would you offer?
We don't make promises.
Okay.
We make plans.
Okay.
And we turn those plans into progress.
Okay.
That's not just lip service.
Yeah.
That's not just language, but look at our record over the past 8 years. We have a track record of success, transforming policing, infusing community into policing. You know, shootings in Newcastle County, areas policed by Newcastle County Police are down nearly 50%. Now, that's not enough. We need to get it to zero, right? But we're going to roll up our sleeves, get to work on the hardest elements of government to make sure they work for you.
Yeah, but not only the shootings down, crime is down as well. But even you know, as I was looking at some of the young people who work here at our CDC, I've not been in Delaware for only 20 years, so I can't go back as far as the 1800s.
Mm-hmm.
But
I wasn't here in the 1800s either.
Well, I wasn't sure because I'm not too sure you don't look. I'm not but the question that I'm saying is, even with the youth, that you opened up a door. You opened a door through your community service, I think, branch of your government, where all year long young people are able to work and really making a nice little dollar too.
Mm-hmm.
Go to school, come home, get a bite to eat, run to the office to wherever they're assigned to, and get a quality training of how to be a professional in different places. And the three that we have are just phenomenal. Your team, keeping us updated. See, these are the things why I just came out.
Can I tell you something, Pastor Curry?
Sure.
When I was teaching at Prestige, I started to notice that my students in Wilmington, they would leave school and they would go to one of three places. They would go to the PAL and get busy. They would go to church to do some church after school thing. Or they'd go somewhere else. That third group that went somewhere else, not always, but often not very good things happen. Right? Drugs, violence, sometimes jail, right? For middle school kids. Kids that went to PAL had after school stuff, got their homework done. Next day they had their homework done, and their parents would talk about how they came home at night and were exhausted and just went to bed. Same with church, right? They were engaged. And so once I was elected as county executive and I heard from budget people, you know, these after school programs are too expensive. We don't have money for this. I said, no. For a lot of kids out there and a lot of families, these after school and weekend activities, it's a matter of equal opportunity. For a few, quite frankly, it's a matter of life or death. It's a matter of changing the trajectory of their lives. It's an opportunity for kids who sometimes are struggling in school to go thrive in arts and music and other things, maybe video games, things that they don't have an opportunity to pursue during the school day. So when I was county executive, we had a summer youth employment program. I was passionate about getting resources to make sure that kids after school throughout the school year and then in the summertime could engage in constructive activities, and families who didn't have the resources could be supported to do that. We plan to take those programs and dramatically expand them at the state level. Yeah, and for those of you who are watching us, it is important that you understand why I even brought that up. Yes, we are recipients of three of those young people who work in our office. They come to work every day. They dress appropriately for what we have them doing, and they're not out on the street cleaning. They are doing office administrative work, learning skills, social skills, how to interact with adults and things of that nature. And as I sat back and evaluate, I never really said anything to County Exec Myers, but I say it to his team all the time. This has been the best gift to people who we serve. And that's why I want to make sure people understand is more than just what he's saying, what he could do or would do is what you've already done. And I want everybody who's watching, and like you say, polls are polls, and I'm grateful that they're in your favor. But it's going to take us getting out and saying we're not going to let certain named people influence us to vote for the establishment. The establishment has caused us to be in the place where we are today. The establishment has caused us to be able to say, you know what, murders are up. Shootings, especially in the African American and the Latino community. We have to now go against the establishment and the individuals who are paid by the establishment to continue to give you a chicken dinner instead of teaching you how to catch the chicken or to catch the fish. So I'm begging you to please, now I often say on my shows, I can't tell you who to vote for, but I'm with Matt. That's on you. I can't tell you who to vote for. If you really want to do something against the odds, against the people who just established,
it's time for us to make a decision and make it clear. And I think people are starting to see that, Matt, that you know what, the same old is just not working. Right. I want to go back because I don't want to do too much talking because I got another whole week to really try to push the message of positivity for those individuals who are doing well, who we're supporting in this campaign. You are currently serving as the exec for the county. You did talk about the police department, the education part. How much control, because I don't know this answer, how much control does the county have over the educational system? Or what is your interaction with that?
Right now, very little. They make us collect taxes for the schools. We don't set school taxes. Okay. Each school district sets their taxes, and they basically, the county government at no fee to the taxpayers collects money for schools and then gives them the money, and they do whatever the state government and school district decides to do.
So how do you now turn that to now being in charge of the school system?
We've done a lot of things outside of schools. Mm-hmm. You mentioned our after school programs. We also started a program called 1,000 Kids Coding that's enabled over 1,100 students, primarily students of color, to learn computer coding. Mm-hmm. Over 50 of them have gotten jobs at JP Morgan Chase, paid jobs. Wow. We say we're teaching low-income kids high-income skills. Right, we want to train you to be the millionaire of tomorrow, and so we've done that. You asked me about, I forgot your question.
How would you use the big budget?
Oh yeah, how we use the big budget because we haven't done. Yeah, I mean the first thing is looking at equity, making sure that schools within the city of Wilmington need to be excellent. Mm-hmm. Our public schools need to be a point of pride. Mm-hmm. There are some good elements. You go to Bancroft, Bayard, right, Stubbs. There are some things going well. I think there's a lot more we can do, or I should say Pritchett. Sorry, not Bancroft was last year. Now Maurice Pritchett, senior. Yeah. And so we're going to be laser focused on how we get not a decent education to these kids, but the highest quality education. I think every kid across this state deserves an equal opportunity to attain an excellent education, every single student. And as long as that's not the case, we're going to be working tirelessly to get more and more resources into the classroom, particularly to those students and schools and classrooms that are under-resourced. And we're also going to make sure that we attract and retain the highest quality educators. Educator salaries is a real point of importance to me. I remember Lance Love, who maybe is watching, I don't know. I hope he doesn't mind me saying 10 years ago, he was making $42,000 a year and he had just had a child. His wife, they decided they needed to make 50 grand and we couldn't figure out how to get 50 grand to him, so he left. This is a young black male, military veteran. He was exactly what we needed in a school like Prestige, but we didn't have the money to keep him. That happens too often in Delaware schools. We're going to work to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Excellent, excellent. Matt, tell us, how do I volunteer? How do I donate to your campaign? Tell me what I need to do.
Go to mattmeyer.org, mattmeyer.org. mattmeyer.org, and we'll set you up. You can also give us a call at 302-219-3511, 302-219-3511.
Okay, good. We're going to make sure that's at the bottom of the screen. For those of you who are watching today, I'm having a conversation with Matt Myers. He is running against the institution. He's not just running against an individual. He's running against the institution. The ones who want to keep everything status quo have lined themselves together. And I want you to pay attention to all of those who are supporting. He's not saying this is me saying it, so you come against me if you need to fight about that last statement. But we watched all of the articles, and I've talked about it on The Source. We've watched all of these articles of things going wrong, crimes, quote unquote, being committed, but not being investigated. Why? It's the establishment. If you or I would have done some of the things that his candidate is being accused of, the major candidate, I don't believe we would be around. I know I would not be the pastor at Zion Fair because they would have gotten rid of me and told me, we thank you for the service that you have provided, but you got to go. I am begging you to realize that your vote is private. No one will be in that booth with you. Please do not. You can shake your head and say, okay, I'm supporting whoever. But when you go into that booth, please vote for the community. Vote for our state. we need to make sure we're putting someone in who has integrity, someone who understands what it is and what it feels like to live on a teacher's salary. I happen to have been one as well. So I know those salaries are very low and they deserve much more. Matt, before I let you go today, let me also share with you that at the Powell Center, starting last week, really, other than Labor Day, there will be early voting. I'm asking that you would please go vote 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the Powell Center or at the Claymont Community Center. For those of you who can see me in those surrounding areas, both of them are open from 11 a.m. until 7 p.m. You can vote, take your ID. Doesn't matter where you live at in Newcastle County, they will be able to service you. I wanted to make sure that we're going to do it as a church. We're going to go and vote together. But I wanted to make sure that I continue to say that because I want you to vote early. You never know what can happen. Let's cast that vote and let's recognize nobody will see who you're voting for. Let's vote to try to change and strengthen Delaware. I'm interested in the young people. I'm interested in them surviving. I'm interested in finding someone who can definitely help us and not harm us by keeping and enriching themselves. I'll give you the opportunity, Matt, to just give us any last comments that you would like to give in your own words, and you can say what you want to say to our audience.
Thank you so much, Pastor Curry. Thank you for what you and E-Zion Fair does, not just today, but year-round, both educating the community and out there, literally getting your hands dirty, literally raising our children. You're not just praying on Sunday. This is a 24/7 operation here, and it's recognized and appreciated. And I and all of us at the county owe you a huge debt of gratitude, not just for doing what you do, but doing it here in Southbridge. You literally have your roots in the community. So thank you for that. You know, every 4 years, we have an opportunity. We, Delawareans, have an opportunity to decide who's going to lead our state government going forward. It's not individuals or insiders that control that choice. As designed hundreds of years ago, it is the people's decision. Very often there are insider games, special interests that try to sway things, try to throw a whole bunch of money in to try and sway you or me to vote one way or another. This year, go out, practice your early vote if you want at Powell Center over at Claymont Community Center or on Election Day, September 10th. Come out and choose someone who's been in the community, who's been here in Wilmington, working hard for Wilmington and for all of Newcastle County for the last 8 years, and is going to continue to roll up my sleeves and work tirelessly for you, making sure that every resource, every penny gets to the people where it needs to go and starts to address some of these really serious problems we're facing across our community. Delaware's a small place. Mm-hmm. We can do extraordinary things. We can be the pride of the nation with our public schools. We can be the pride of our nation with smart housing policy that enables people to afford a basic home, basic shelter, and enables people to use a home to build wealth like they never have before. But it takes leadership to do it. So on September 10th, or if you go early vote before then, choose Matt Meyer and stop by our website, mattmeyer.org, get a yard sign, come help out.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You go to my house, you're going to see it out there. As a matter of fact, before I let you go, it was funny. You had, I guess there was a fundraiser at one of my neighbors had, and I saw your car and saw you going into the house. I said, Matt, don't even know I live in this area because, I've never invited you to my house. One day I might have to invite you and the wife over. But I was so impressed. And the neighbors who you were going in are some outstanding members of our African community. But I'm grateful that I see now people are just throwing those signs up. I put mine up right away. I want everybody to know I'm with Matt. At the end of the day, I'm interested in seeing a better Delaware. It's not about no special interest. I have no money involved in this. It's about seeing a better Delaware. Our young people matter. Housing, it matters. Mm-hmm. And what you did over there at Hope Center, that speaks to already done. Off the list check, he can handle doing that across the state. It checks off the list with this whole educational piece, how you started out as a teacher and saw some of the things that were wrong. And you were able to say, you know what, I think it's more. And you went and ran against the system then, and God gave you favor. Now we come to this pivotal moment where it's a big system, but the God I serve, and I'm sure the God you serve, is able to do that. So I just hope and trust that those of you who are watching us today, please, let's get out and vote. And he said, vote for someone. Today, I'm going to say, vote for Matt Myers. I'm sure he'll do you good. We'll be right back.
Hello, Wilmington. I am Michelle Harley, and I represent the 4th Councilmatic District. The communities in the 4th District are Southbridge, the Riverfront, Midtown Brandywine, Trinity Vicinity, and a portion of the East Side. I am running for my re-election on Tuesday, September the 10th for the 4th District City Council seat, and I would love for you to donate and to consider volunteering. To learn more about what I am doing and what I plan to do, you can visit my website at www.michelleharley.com. Together, we can move the 4th District forward. Thank you.
Greetings, I am Wayna Dobson, your candidate for Wilmington City Council at Large. I have served our community and constituents for over 35 plus years. And in doing so, I decided that I would run. I want to be an advocate, continue being an advocate for constituents and those in the community. I want to be a listening ear and get a resolve done for you. You are important to me, and that's why I am running. So I am asking that on September the 10th that you vote for me, Wayna Dobson, Wilmington City Council at Large.
Hello, I'm Marcus Henry, and I'm running for Newcastle County Executive. I spent over 20 years working in state and local government trying to bring the good programs and services you deserve here in Newcastle County. Please support my campaign. Please look us up at marcushenryde.com for further information. I look forward to meeting you all over the next year, and I look forward to your support. Thank you.
The drive to move forward. For some people, it's a part of who they are, and it's who we are too. For 130 years, Strayer University has been at the forefront of change, with programs that help students get and stay ahead, so you can keep striving.
Jason, let's go see your room.
That's not right. How was it? Is it good?
And we're back. I hope and trust that you enjoyed today's show. Purposefully, I had both Velda Jones-Potter as well as Matt Myers to be a part of this time with you. It is so critical. Both of them are running against the establishment. I personally came out already in support of Matt Myers way before now. It's not that Matt has given me any money. It's not that Matt has done things that will be compromising like his opponent has done. But I came out because I see the work that is being done. I see the people who are around him. I see his selections. All of that matters. I'm begging you, do not run with the flow because a certain person is popular in the city and they're going with a certain candidate, then you have to follow suit. Let me tell you what happened with my daughter. I said to my daughter, I'm voting for a certain person. And my daughter said to me, no, Daddy, I don't want you to vote for this person. I want to vote for the other. I said, I'm your father, and I'm going to vote for the person. She said, okay, Daddy, I'm going to let you say that. But as you do every year, because my daughter's not old enough to vote yet, I'm the one who pulls the lever, and I'm not going to pull the lever for that person. I thought about that. What a smart child. She's only 13 years old. I'm saying to you, people are going to tell you what to do. You're the one who's pulling the lever. I ask that you would please support the candidates who have your best interests at heart. We got one more week before it's all over, but make sure you go to the Powell Center. You go to the Claymount Community Center, 11 to 7 p.m. every day. It is open. Early voting is so powerful because you know what? You have already done your due diligence. Until the next time we get together, may the Lord God bless you real good.
Thank you for watching this episode of Coffee with Curry. Tune in next week, Sunday at 11 a.m.